Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and we got the first sneak peek for next week's mid-month update. Amadeus Cho as Datamind, friend of the gods, also featured in the epic quest for the Mortals of Olympus, has returned to Marvel Future Fight once again to lend his strength. So this is pretty big for Amadeus Cho fans because he hasn't gotten anything in like 4 years since Agents of Atlas. Over on the forums, we have the following. The new Hulk, who is the 7th smartest person in the Marvel Universe, is ready to join the battlefield energetically. The Prince of Power. Check out the new ability and looks, or new abilities and look for this superhero who possesses wisdom, strength, and humor. So presumably we're getting a tier 4 and a new uniform for Amadeus Cho. We speculated on the uniform at the minimum based on the epic quest and how he features there with a brand new model and all that stuff. They wouldn't bother to do all that if he wasn't getting something. And as you can see, if you have eagle-eyed viewers, you can see that he's actually holding the mace of Hercules. And wouldn't it be funny if Amadeus Cho did more damage than Hercules wielding Hercules' weapon? That's probably going to happen because the devs don't know how to balance anything in this game. So that's crazy. The good thing is there's another sneak peek. The not bad thing, but the sort of lukewarm take is it's probably just going to be Zeus tier 4, which they already teased last 2 weeks ago almost with 3RL's live stream. So we already kind of know what to expect, what we're going to get, but that's okay. Let's check out the video really quickly here. It's one of those, you know, super jump cut, hypercut teasers that we get for transcended characters and stuff like that. There is one piece of there's a big reveal. There's one piece of big news in this video. I won't give the sneak peek team any trash or hatred or vitriol or anything like that. I understand that the sneak peek team is working very hard to the sneak peek team and the art team are working super hard to hold this game above water, to stop this game from drowning, because the devs who do character balancing are just waterboarding themselves, just trying to drown themselves day by day. So the big reveal here is that Amadeus Cho is going to be a speed type. Yeah. So this is pretty interesting. He's changing his typing from combat to speed. Now, for those of you thinking, man, speed, male, hero, human, ugh. Well, just the other day in game, we had one of the new restrictions, not Otherworld Battle. Alex, come on, get it together. Get it together, Grouch. Look at my terrible scores. You had the new day for ABL called Blast. Or sorry, not Blast. Speed, Hero, Male. And so you would be surprised, shocked even, if they're releasing a uniform for a character in order to make him good for one of these days. Yeah. So rip to the people who just tier 4'd Bucky. As it stands right now, I believe this is the best team, something like this, either Deadpool, or some people are using like Sunbird or Angel if he has a support CTP on him, like a Liberation or an Insight or whatever. But I believe this is the best team. It may change, and it may then be Cho as the replacement DPS because Winter Soldier's new uniform is not that good, but it is the best we have right now. And that's kind of what we asked for ABL. We asked for more restrictions. We specifically highlighted typings like speed hero, speed male hero, because we got so many last year with Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, Daredevil, and none of them were useful. Even Captain America, Sam Wilson, all of these were useless last year, or sorry, this year. Earlier this year. It feels like last year. It feels like ages ago because we were just getting beaten up left, right, and center because there was no days for them. Now there's a day for them, and it's about to be replaced. So very, very cool. I mean, it's whatever. I don't care one way or another. I just want them to buff Hercules. If you haven't realized, I'm going to pivot this video into a plea to the devs to buff Hercules. This is the time to buff Hercules. If there's one thing they can do right with next month's mid-month update, is to next week's mid-month update, it is to buff Hercules. My brain is so discombobulated from saying buff Hercules that I can't even string together a coherent sentence in order for me to beg you to buff Hercules. So all in all, at the end of the day, it's night, and that's when they should buff Hercules. He has Hercules' mace. Please just buff Hercules. It's absolutely nuts. Anyways, that's basically it for the sneak peek. We should be getting another sneak peek, but yeah, Cho's going to get a new uniform and a tier 4. However, I did want to, on top of the joke here about begging them to buff Hercules, highlight some other bad stuff, essentially. Sorry, I'm not very good with words these days. The last couple of days, my brain's been kind of fried. But the quality of the game has been in question lately. Either the quality of the game or the quality of the decisions by the developers. It's really one or the other, right? Even when they put out high quality stuff like the new Alliance Battle Relay, Infinite Challenge, or the changes to Zombie Survival, that's always met with some awful decisions, awful, after the fact knee-jerk reactions in between. Not to mention all of the terrible, reworks or buffs or whatever, all of the terrible designs for characters. Hey, let's take a character from 2025 and make them worse than a character from 2021. By the way, thank you to those of you that watched the Eternals versus Olympians video. I did have some people criticizing me saying, oh, but Alex, you should have compared their base uniforms. I'm not going to do it for all of them, okay? But I'll just show you right here how comparing their base uniforms actually does not... I don't know where Cersei is, bro. I don't know where... I'm just so blind. I don't know. Okay, whatever. Cersei's right there. Comparing their base uniforms doesn't matter. Back in 2021, that's right, guys, 4 years ago, whoever was working on the game had the sense to actually give the cleanse on the passive. So even base kit Cersei is better than base kit Aphrodite. It's really that bad. Her passive is not as good, I'll give you that, but it's really that bad. Okay, the only person that gets substantially worse without the uniform is Gilgamesh, because his healing does go down to 4 HP per second instead of 6. And he loses all of the Eternals buffs. So in that sense, he is more similar to Hercules, but he still has a far superior artifact. So miss me with that criticism, because it's not correct. I don't think many people had that criticism. I think they were just trying to be thorough in their, they wanted me to be more thorough, and I appreciate that. But yeah, I did look into it, and it really does not matter. It's horrible either way. Now, to pile on to that, unfortunately, I do have more bad news. The bugs in the game seem to be multiplying, as bugs often do when left untreated. Some people found that they could, mess around in the Marvel Universe tab, and they could actually have the game show them the new Amadeus Cho uniform ahead of time. I don't think this was photoshopped. If it was photoshopped, they did a really good job. I got to give them credit. They did a really good job blending all of this and making it look real. I don't think this is photoshopped. I haven't looked at it with a fine-tooth comb, but they didn't miss anything. They added all the new skill icons. They added all the new passive icons. And this does get data mined. Like, you can find this information in the game files. And that is why we knew that Amadeus Cho was going to be getting a uniform, because we saw the new skills. We saw the new icons for the new skills. And you can just clearly see that this one, for example, it's really small, but I'll try to zoom in here. That this icon down here just looks like the new Cho with the suit and the yellow tie. And this looks like Hercules' hammer, but then there's a green thing. So green Hulk, we're talking about Scooby-Doo level puzzles here. We're not talking about, some whatever high level puzzles. But the fact that this was able to be done in game is pretty embarrassing. And we're just not far away from the game just being a total mess bug wise with an update. We're not there yet. I'll admit the game is not that buggy, but stuff like this is very, very poor QA or no QA whatsoever. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't have any QA anymore. It reflects in the quality of the product that they don't have a lot of QA. QA is quality assurance, or people like testing stuff. Most companies, I just say most. There is news that companies these days are looking for ways to replace entirely their QA department with AI. So it's no surprise to me that Netmarble would be licking their lips and, getting ready to do that, already having done that. Maybe they queued that shit up a year ago. Shout out to this guy, by the way, having 7,000 energy. Wow. Very cool. But yeah, this kind of stuff does not give me a lot of confidence for the game. And again, this is going into Black Friday week. Just not a lot of confidence right now in the game. I am probably still going to spend, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not. I do have enough crystals. I have banked enough crystals to just do the bingo flat out without spending. So maybe we'll see. Listen, listen. I don't want to boycott. All right, I don't. It's a headache. It takes a lot of time and energy that I don't have, and nor do I want to put forward towards the game to boycott it, which is probably the biggest indictment of the game, that I don't even have the energy to boycott it. It's, but on a personal level anyways, I'm not saying anybody else has to do what I'm doing, to be clear. But in order for a boycott to be effective, you have to, disseminate stuff to the community. You have to make content. You have to, like create a summit, right? And then you have to like tell people to go to this like virtual summit, which is, we're all going to meet at the top of this mountain. And this is like the Boycott MFF 2025 mountain, right? We're tired of this. We're tired of that. These are our demands, A, B, C, D, blah, blah, blah. This is what we want, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Try not to spend whatever, you gotta put some effort into it if it's going to be successful. I don't have the energy for that. Additionally, I just don't want there to be a boycott. It's not like we're asking for the moon and the stars. We're not asking for like 1,000 crystals a day. We're not asking for some crazy shit. It breaks my heart, but it really does conflict me because the game has had some really good moments this year. Like, all the bullshit aside, the anniversary was really fun. They cooked with some updates like X-Men. Mephisto was really nice. Like, they've done some good things, and they've really cooked this year on game modes. I have to give them credit. They cooked on TBA, introducing it and also improving it. They're cooking with ABX ABL and the new Relay Infinite Challenge. I think the whole change is stupid, but whatever. But they're trying on one side of things, but then on the character side of things, they don't try. And it's like with MFF, it always feels like you can get one thing or the other, but not both. You can have a hug or a kiss. So I'm not making it like that. I'm just saying, like, you can have a hug or a handshake, but not both, right? You can have food or shelter, but not both. You can have good updates for characters and shitty updates for content, or no updates for content, or you can have lots of good content updates and shitty characters. Those are the choices. And it feels like every year it's just like, hey, are we going to get good characters or are we going to get good content, right? Good game mode updates. And it's like, man, can't you guys do both? Is it really that hard to do both? You're clearly capable of doing one of the two on any given year. So just do both. And it's just so frustrating. So, yeah, man, I don't know. It's not a boycott, but I don't know. I just don't know anymore. It's annoying. Yeah, more than anything else, it's annoying because I just want the game to be better. It's not even that far off from being better. But it's just so frustrating that they just refuse to listen. They're not going to put out a character voting poll. They're not going to put out, of course they're going to have a dev note next week. Of course they're going to have a dev note next week because they have to do a fake roadmap of the game, right? They have to breadcrumb us with, hey guys, we're going to do this and this and this. Wow, they have so many things planned. And yeah, I'm going to get hyped up for it because I love that deep down. I really enjoy this game. I love this game. I do want it to be really good. But it's like, man, how long are they going to ignore us asking for characters to get buffed before it becomes, I guess one of two things is going to happen. If they keep ignoring us on character buffs and character rebalancing, it's either going to fracture the player base permanently, or players are just going to learn to accept it. And we're just going to lower our expectations for characters. And then moving forward, you're just like, oh, yeah, it's okay. It's whatever. Yeah, well, remember last year, Hawkeye? And we just sound like a bunch of instruments being tuned. Anyways, that's the video. Thanks for watching, guys. Random outro, go. See you in the next one. Take care.